So there's a man who lives in Fort Smith. His name is Bruce Wade. And he sued the city of Fort Smith in 2017, claiming the emails between several city directors about the employment practices of Fort Smith Police Chief Nathaniel Clark violated the open meetings rules. His attorney in the case is Joey McCutchen. Last month, the Arkansas Supreme Court handed down a decision saying that the these secret emails did not violate the Arkansas Freedom of Information Act. Here now to talk more about this decision is attorney from Fort Smith, Joey McCutchen. Joey, good to talk to you again, sir.
Hey, Paul, good talking to you. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. So, listen, I know you're a staunch advocate for the Freedom of Information Act, and so what can you tell us? How did this all develop for you?
Well, we learned that there was a secret email discussion. There's no using any other term. A secret email discussion between board members of the city council in Fort Smith, more or less looking to abolish the Civil Service Commission. We got that through an open records request, and clearly there was discussion of public business that was going to come before the board. In our opinion, a clear violation of the open meetings provision of FOIA. We sued. The circuit judge granted our summary judgment motion, concluding that a meeting did in fact occur, and the city appealed that to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court ruled that that was not in fact a meeting.
So, I mean, that's pretty frustrating because it does appear that they were using email to get around, transparency, really.
Absolutely. If you, that's exactly what the FOIA is supposed to prevent are these types of discussions, and in fact, decision making. Decisions were made in this matter. There's no question about that. Decisions were made, and I thought Justice Hart wrote an outstanding dissenting opinion, concluding that secrecy is the poison is poison to democracy, and I think that's absolutely true. So now we've got to look to the solution, which this isn't the first rodeo for Fort Smith. This is the third court case, at least, on FOIA that they've been up. The first was the Harris case. Basically, there were serial discussions by city directors. Then there was McCutchen, which was my case, versus the city of Fort Smith. And now this decision. So in the McCutchen case, the Supreme Court said, city of Fort Smith, if you want a definition of meeting, then go to the legislature and get one. And I think that's where we've got to go, is we've got to go to the legislature or have a ballot initiative, Paul, and clearly define what a meeting is. And in my opinion, it's if two city council members, two school board members are discussing public business that's going to come before the public body, then that's a meeting.
Yeah. Do you think if the Supreme Court had ruled in your favor or consistent with the lower court, would this have had implications down to like the state legislator, level, or the state senator when it comes to them using emails?
No, I don't think it.
Okay.
It would have. FOIA does not apply to an open meeting to state legislators, although I think it should. I think government ought to be open, whether it's on the city level or on the state level. But that's one thing that I think Governor Rockefeller, who this was his crowning achievement for you, he was a Republican in the midst of Democrats, and he knew that if he made it apply to state legislatures, that this would just not pass. Is my opinion. So I think that's one flaw with otherwise what's been a very, very strong FOIA, and this opinion weakened FOIA and must be corrected, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, I'm just trying to, I'm trying to figure out their logic. Sometimes I don't, whether right or wrong. I feel like sometimes Supreme Court that they look at maybe other consequences that would happen, the change that would happen as a result of the decision. And I was just wondering if maybe they thought it would, make things more difficult for those in Little Rock. But it would certainly make things a little more difficult, Joey, for those in local government, these city governments. This is probably happening all over the state where decisions are being made via chain emails that are not being done in public. And so it enables them to then have a public meeting. The temptation for me would be, as a human who knows human nature, would to go ahead and get to predetermined outcomes. You're using the email system as like a dress rehearsal for what you want to happen in public. Isn't that the danger?
That's the absolute danger, is that all we see is the final decision. We don't hear the discussion. And in fact, it is happening all over the state. I've got a suit against the West Side School District in Greers Ferry right now, same issue, text message, discussions being had, decisions being made. Ozark, Arkansas, again, their city council, discussion between three board members, decisions being made. So it is, in fact, happening all over the state, whether it's through text messages or whether it's through emails. One thing the Supreme Court did say, which was a nice holding, is that an exchange of emails among public officials can constitute a public meeting. The city of Fort Smith, through spending thousands upon thousands of taxpayer dollars to promote secrecy, wanted the Supreme Court to declare that emails cannot constitute a meeting. But here's the concerning thing with this opinion, Paul. Okay, the Supreme Court has ruled that 7 members who are involved in an email exchange, 3 of the members discuss and make a decision on public business that's going to come. What about if they go to McDonald's now and they have 7 board members there, 3 of them discuss it, make a decision, just like in this case? Is that not a public meeting? Is that not a public meeting?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, so tell me about the ballot initiative. You say that's the remedy here. Obviously, we've got a 2020 ballot question that might make it harder. I mean, if we pass, it's going to make it harder to get a citizen-led initiative on the ballot. What are your thoughts?
I think that's one option. What I'm doing right now is I'm going around the state, and folks who are interested, we are forming transparency in government groups. Garland County will have one up and running. We've got one in Boone County. We've got one in western Arkansas. We've got one in northwest Arkansas. Shortly in other cities. I would love for your listeners to give me a call if they want to form a transparency in government group. There are several of us, Bill Ray Lewis in Harrison, Arkansas. We're going around starting these transparency in government chapters in individual cities. And we've also recently started a transparency in government group of Arkansas, and we are actively recruiting members and different chapters, and we'll set up the model, show you the template. There's no more important law than the Freedom of Information Act, Paul.
Yeah.
It holds government accountable. It ensures that we get public records on one side, the public records requirement, and on the other side, it ensures that public meetings are held with notice to the public and to the media. So if your listeners desire to call me, it'd be great, 479-783-0036, and we'll come and talk to them about forming a transparency in government group in their local venue.
I think that's great. I think that's fantastic. It's something that, everybody can get behind. It's a very bipartisan concept because I think whatever your political opinion, you want to know what's going on in your government. Joey McCutchen, it's always great to have you on, sir. We appreciate the work you're doing, and hopefully, there'll be better days concerning this issue.
Hey, I think there will. We need to get this legislatively fixed also, Paul. Not just, if we can't do a ballot initiative, I'd love to do a ballot initiative if time and money permit. But if not, we need to get the people engaged so that they can get on top of their legislators. Let's get a definition that promotes open government.
Yeah, I completely agree. Hey, Joey, appreciate it, sir. You have a great week.
Hey, appreciate you.
All righty.